Good evening, Master. Good evening, fellow channeler. It is with great happiness that we find ourselves once again on the pathway following Master Kuan Yin's technique. As we had hoped, we are delighted to announce that we are gradually developing an international profile and are spreading the teachings of Master Kuan Yin not only throughout Brazil, but throughout Latin America, the United States, Spain, and many other countries as well. What is important is that this technique is becoming an increasingly powerful force towards augmenting and reinforcing interest in our words and teachings, and as such, it is a great first step towards becoming a positive influence in people's lives. Thus, the Kuan Yin technique has become a gateway, unveiling and revealing our teachings, and laying bare the content that we wish to convey and disclosure to everyone. As you progress and develop in the training, it is important to continue to pass messages to all those people who have come seeking you, as these people are thirsty for knowledge. Furthermore, it is very important that there is continuity in the contact with those people who have already completed the training, and that they continue to receive the messages that we are transmitting to them. Thanks to all of your efforts, the channeling of messages as a form of proactive dialogue with the Master is getting better and better, as well as evolving more and more. Consequently, the messages you have channeled, collected, and passed on will gradually reach all those people who have completed the training, and without doubt, these people in turn are sure to be even more moved and enriched by their spiritual evolution. So let us continue to reveal and spread our messages and disclosures in this way. All these people who have already completed the training are now on the open road, but they must be supported and encouraged to continue the journey and to take the further steps along the way. And once these steps are taken, it will certainly encourage those who have already completed the training not only to continue their natural progression along this path, but also to encourage and bring their loved ones, siblings, uncles, cousins, and friends on this journey too. Continuing in this manner, we see a very positive and prosperous future for all those people whose hearts you have touched. The topic that was discussed here among us today, the beings of light, refers to the equilibrium of all the diverse facets of the lives of each one of you. It is important that there is a balance and equal distribution between the different aspects and facets of the lives we lead. Our love lives, work lives, social lives, and our spiritual lives. We are the accumulation of all these. We are the sum of all these intensely lived lives. This is what determines who you are. It is what you do how you live these lives that determines the well-being of your whole body, or not, as the case may be. It is God, in its infinite wisdom and mercy, who has allowed humanity, through our own free will, to have multiple sub-lives and relationships during our life on earth. For example, the relationships of life between parents and children, between couples, between friends, and between colleagues. Additionally, life also has other aspects, other facets, such as spiritual life and a physical life. Accordingly, all of these sub-lives have to be in balance, in harmony and equilibrium, in order that there is no lack of control on a mental, ethereal, physical, or spiritual level. Consequently, when one or more of these bodies becomes overloaded, there is a lack of balance in our life. When work is placed as the highest priority, as our primary goal in life, this ultimately leads to an overload in the mental body. This mental overload will have repercussions and ramifications, causing disequilibrium throughout the other bodies. For example, when there is an overload in the spiritual body, which, though a rare and unusual occurrence in this day and age, does still happen in the lives of most religious leaders, there is a great imbalance in emotional issues. When you seek to intensify the development on the spiritual side above other areas, you end up failing to live your sub-lives, and this ends up affecting your emotional life because we fail to pay due attention to loved ones, especially that attention due to our children, and this results in a gross imbalance within the family itself. We could mention numerous examples of discordance, mainly in the 4 lower bodies due to imbalance. An example we see very often is the man in search of a better economic situation, seeking financial wealth, who ends up causing imbalance in both his physical body and his spiritual body. As a result, diseases arise due to greed, self-centeredness, and the exaggerated pursuit of power. Now is the moment to seek equilibrium. Now is the time to calm and settle some areas of your life and seek more dynamism in others in order to find balance. It is only through this, with everything balanced, that the energies and frequencies will be in harmony in your bodies. Therefore, it is important that each one of us measures our lives and checks that there is no overload or lack of attention in any particular side or in any particular area. It is important that each person undertakes an honest appraisal and reflection of themselves, and if necessary, institutes a series of internal reforms so that there can be equilibrium. Not everything in life is money. Not everything in life is power. Not everything in life is the pursuit of spiritual elevation. There must be a balance. The internal reform and recalibration that we propose for each of you is fundamental for the continuity and maintenance of a balanced life. What we see in humanity as a whole is very, very unbalanced, extremely unbalanced. Without doubt, it is these imbalances that are the cause of most diseases in the modern world. Stress and depression are typical illnesses of imbalance, and each person's individual and personal balance can only be actualized and attained by that individual person themselves. Of course, we can guide and influence them with words, with presentations, with trainings. All this can and must be done, but the search required in order to achieve a true balance means internal reforms and reflections are necessary. It is not possible for someone else to perform the internal reformations for another person. It is something that is really personal, really internal. It is something that can only come from within the person themselves. The first step is to reflect, to really reflect. As the old saying goes, acknowledging your mistake is half the solution. If a person recognizes that there are imbalances in their life, this is already a good step towards resolving their problems. This is important and should be made clear to people. This is how medicine, science, and spirituality must be drawn to converge, to reach the same point. And that is what we will strive to do and to achieve, the convergence between medicine and science as a whole and spirituality. All of this needs to work in harmony to bring us together. That is why we have used our intuition to suggest taking a photo of the aura of our friend the channeler. This is a great step forwards towards the scientific verification and validation of activities up until now defined by spirituality. This is a huge first step towards the study and analysis of these subjects, which will lead ultimately to serious research being conducted around the practice of spirituality and activities associated with spirituality. So the next step is to bring more and more scientific evidence to the academic world, and in so doing, awaken their interest in these matters. I'm happy to tell you that nowadays, unlike 20 or 30 years ago, scientists are far more open to these discussions. Therefore, by presenting cases and scientific evidence, such as the Kirlian photo of the aura, we will attract the attention of the academic world, resulting in detailed studies being conducted. In summary, when science and spirituality come together, the evolution of humanity will be exponential. We are no longer constrained by the obstacles that held us back 100 years ago, even 50 years ago, whereby those who claim to be our religious leaders, who should have actually been trying to unite these two themes, deliberately chose to do exactly the opposite, thereby ensuring the separation and distancing of the two fields, the field of science and spirituality. The world has had to endure a great delay in its evolution. So much time has been lost due to the political agendas and prejudiced and insular dogmas dictated and imposed by religious leaders. All this is going to change and is already changing. We knew that this time would come, and we have been working to make it happen. And today, the bonds imposed upon us are loosened. They can no longer hold us firm. Humanity as a whole has already seen that spirituality is an undeniable force. It is undeniable, and as such, it must be studied far more deeply in order to convince people of the power of its existence. We still have a long way to go, but the first steps have been taken. It is important that through our messages, this pathway can continue and progress so that more and more people can become aware of the actions of spirituality. Gradually, step by step, little by little, with training, with the application of the technique, and with the dissemination of our messages and our teachings, all this will be possible. Okay, Master? Very good. I believe today's message was given. We wish you all a great week, and may the grace of God be with you all. So be it. Thank God.